What I remember from when I was a little kid, my grandma had lived in this huge old Victorian house. It was built back in like the 1860s or something like that. It was an old house, but it was huge. And I think I got some pictures of it I could put on there. But so there's pictures of it back from the late 1800s when there's horses and carriages going down the street by this old house.
The cobblestone, like pretty.
No, not cobblestone, mud, and like it was like shit. Dirt roads and stuff.
It wasn't nice.
It was. The house was really nice.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like Forrest Gump old plantation.
No, it was. This was here in Arkansas, and it was it kind of reminded you of like one of the plantation type houses, but it was on the main street. And actually, it's a major highway nowadays. It's like the U.S. Highway 65 goes right, and that is the road. In the pictures that we have of the house back when there's horses and carriages, that's a major highway through there. But so she got this house. I don't remember when she moved into it, but I remember going and I would stay the night with her sometimes, when I was a little kid. I was probably 6 or 7 years old that I remember this from when this happened. But the house, it was so old, it went through different stages of. It was a house at one point. Then it ended up actually being a boarding house, like almost like a saloon boarding house at one point.
Really?
So it had like a common area, and then it had the upstairs had several rooms. So it was people would, when they were stopping through, going. It was like the major thoroughfare through there from like Little Rock up to Missouri, because like the Missouri territory all the time. So. People would stop there.
What year-ish?
This was, when it was a boarding house was the late 1800s, early 1900s. I'll have to find this I'll put a picture of this if I can find it. So there was a few people died in that house, but there was one guy murdered in the house during a poker game in the house, and they have a picture of him during a poker game. Because I remember I saw a picture, it's an old black and white, picture of the guy. They had him in the pine box, leaned up against the wall, and he had been shot. During the poker game for cheating, or somebody accused him, and they had a gunfight there in the house. So there's always these stories when we were kids about these people dying in the house or guy getting murdered and all that stuff. So we always was thinking about this stuff in the house. But when my grandma lived there, the house was huge, and it was just her and my uncle lived there with her, helped taking care of her, and so they had the whole upstairs completely like boarded off and shut off. They just lived on the first floor. But we would be there in the house, and you could hear footsteps upstairs above you, and the rooms are literally boarded off. There's nobody up there, and
they're boarded up.
A lot of them were, yeah. They had to.
Fuck that.
Well,
man.
they had
scary as shit.
There was like the old staircase. You'd like open the door. There's a door, and it looked like it was a closet door. But you open the door, and it's this dark staircase that goes up to the
super steep,
fucking super steep.
Spiralizes up there like,
yeah. When you're a kid, your imagination just runs wild with this stuff. So I don't know if
it is right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this place was big and creepy. You'd hear footsteps, and my grandma would say, "Oh, it's just a raccoon or a possum up there in the attic or whatever." Like, I don't know. That sounds like footsteps to me.
Fuck that.
Well, so I remember one night.
That sounds like an awesome place to play and grow up, but terrifying at the same time. That sounds like a really good mix.
It was. I enjoyed always going over there and staying with her, but it was always creepy at night. Like when you go to bedtime was stressful there. Yeah,
that's a first.
That's great.
So I remember one night. I don't remember. I was in the living room. So that's what's crazy about some of those old houses too. Every room was like a separate room, like you have these new houses that are open concepts, kind
of like this. Yeah, they opened this all up.
Yeah, every room had 2 or 3 doorways in it, because it went from one room to another room to another room.
Yeah.
Well, I'm laying there in the room. I think I'm on the couch or on a cot or something like that, staying the night, and it just feels like
crying already.
already crying. Yeah. So, you're a little kid. If I had the blankets up over my head, nothing can get me.
Your safe place.
That's my safe place. Well, it just feels like something's watching me. Like I just feel eyes on me. And
that's such a terrifying feeling,
yeah.
too, man.
And I'm laying there, and so I'm in this room, and the room I'm in is dark. The room next to me has a light on. It's like just a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, you know.
That's scary as shit already.
Yeah. So it's just like a light bulb on, and there has like a nightlight.
There's a nightmare in there.
Yeah. So I'm laying there, and I'm like, man, there's something looking at me, and I'm just hyping myself up even more and more. And I'm laying there with my eyes closed. Nothing can get me, you know. And I gotta look and see what this is. Like, what is what? And so I'm laying there on my side, and I just open my eyes, and I can see like the silhouette of the door. Right, you have the light is on in another room, and you can see like the rectangle.
Yeah, the frame, the door frame.
Door frame. And in that door frame is a shadow.
Fuck.
So I'm not even looking at the door. I'm looking at the shadow, like the projection against the wall of this. And it is like an outline of a man or a person standing and it has one of those like bowler hats. Like it's like a top, it's like an 18.
Why did it have to have the bowler hat? It makes it even worse.
Yeah, so you can see this guy with a hat on it, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a guy there. And so now I'm laying there, and I'm staying there as a little kid, like big-eyed, like looking at the shadow.
Just ready to die.
And I'm like, he's going to get me. And the shadow's still there, and it's like, fuck, I got to look. So I like do that and look real quick at the door, and there's nothing there. And I look back at the shadow, and it's just the rectangle of the door and the light, and there's no shadow there anymore. So
no shit.
It was creepy.